It really is a pain in the you-know-what to do this without a lift. I told myself a long time ago I would never work on another project car until I got a shop, until I got a lift. But here I am. I'm just trying to get this thing roadworthy, and I ultimately want to go back and redo the whole exhaust, get different headers. But for now, this is going to do, and this is what I got. I ended up fitting those mufflers in there. They're pretty long. They're about 21 inches overall by 6 inches. So it's a pretty tight fit in there. I had to modify my flow tubes a little bit in order to get them angled up into the area where they sit. And I ran the tailpipes sort of like an IRS, more or less. I ended up running them under the axle because I don't have a bandsaw. I can't be making pie cuts and making my own tubes over the axle to get full tailpipes, maybe in the future. But for now, I think it looks pretty cool. I also ended up making some hangers from scratch, put some stainless steel bolts in those hangers. Pretty cool. I had Pam jump in the trunk. She was jumping up and down because I needed to simulate hitting bumps going down the road. I didn't want to put them too high that they would hit the axle. I didn't want to put them too low that they'd be dragging on every bump that I went around. And the fit up actually ended up working very well. I'm gonna set you guys up, start this thing, and you guys let me know in the comments how this thing sounds. Sounds pretty good. It's kind of the sound I was going for. Give it a couple revs. Yeah, I really think I ran out of gas here. Maybe not. Kind of was hoping I did, because I have to drop my tank a little bit, so I'm trying to get some of the gas out. And if there's less gas in there, the better. The last video I talked about rerouting this harness, because when I ran the fuse box back here, I had put all the wires behind the filler neck just to give me some extra room, because I wasn't really sure where I was going to put this. So the less gas in the tank, the better. When I get this filler neck out, I can go back and wrap those wires up. But I think I still got gas in here. There's a couple other problems I got to fix with that, as well as the gauge for the sending unit. So that's what's going to be on my to-do list next. I just wanted to give you guys an update with the exhaust. I think it sounds pretty good. I'm gonna send it like that for now, but who knows, maybe in the next video this will all be different. You just never know with me. I just realized I don't have a sway bar on here, so I didn't even take that into account when I did this. So hopefully a sway bar is gonna fit back here. In my last video I did some wiring to the trunk, and I figured since I'm back there, there's a couple other things I want to tackle. Now, I'm not a huge fan on reverse cameras. I feel like reverse cameras are very helpful. They definitely help a lot. But when you get into a car that doesn't have one and you try to park, it just makes it even harder because you're getting used to all the new technology. But I figured I might as well install one of these because it's back there. The connector's in the trunk. All I got to do is plug in this camera. And I even went a step further back. I had bought a aftermarket reverse camera, and I was like, oh, let me just wire this thing. And I bought it years ago when I first started this project. And it was like, oh, you got to run wires all the way up to the sink, to the back of the head unit, and, you know, wire the whole thing up. I was like, hold on a second. I got a S550 harness. All I got to do is buy a camera, plug it in, and figure out a way to mount this thing. That's probably going to be the hardest part. But that's just the beauty of this swap. Even though a lot of things I had to modify, there are some that are just plug and play. And the S550 stock parts are very inexpensive. I think I paid under $20 for this brand new Ford reverse camera. I got to figure out a way to get these sensors installed in the door jamb. It's not 100%. The way I have it now is I just have the ground wire going to the door. When I open the door, it just happens to break the connection. I think the seatbelt lock, there's a little hole in the door jamb. This actually fits almost perfectly in that hole. So I'm already on a plan of action for that. I'm thinking about mounting it right here, because as this hinge closes, might be hard to see it with the trunk going down, but I think that's a really good spot for it, because I don't really want to drill into anything here. I'm gonna have the liner back here, so it's gonna be hard to fit that up. So I think right here is the best spot for that switch. I'll probably make a little bracket for each one of them, and then drill that bracket, one here and then one on the hinge. And before I close out this video, let's plug this camera in and see if I actually have a reverse camera. Hopefully it's that easy. All right, let's see here. Oh, that's so cool, man. That's so cool. Well, just got to figure out a way to mount that thing. And it's that easy, plug and play. So I started messing around to make some brackets for the door and trunk switches. I have a bunch of scrap aluminum lying around. And even though the switches are plastic, you know, I really just hate mixing plastic and metal. I wish everything was metal, but I had to deal with that. So I started just figuring out a way to mount these things. And I also needed to find a way to get that plastic to stay in the aluminum. So I figured once I make this and bend the ends, it'll make it nice and strong. And I found that rubber grommets actually work perfectly to hold these into place. It's a nice snug fit, and there's actually an outer shell to the switches. I think it was 3/4 and 11/16 was the difference between the two, so depending on what size grommet you have, and that thing just pushes right in there, and it's a nice snug fit. It's not going nowhere. I was thinking about threading, you know, a nut on the back of the plastic, but you know, again, I just mixing plastic with metal, and those two things just do not go together. But that's what I was thinking in mind right here. So let me install this and see how it works. It was really hard to get in there. I sat in the back seat and put my arms around my battery, and I was trying to line them things up and clamp them down so I can get them to sit even with each other. And I got it pretty close. The way it's wired is they're normally open. So once the switch breaks the connection, it grounds a circuit, and then the control module thinks that the door is open. Pretty cool. A simple magnet can just break that connection. I ended up trimming down the bracket a little bit, made it a little smaller. They actually are quite responsive. Here I'm just simulating opening and closing the trunk, and if you look at the right above this, the horn on the steering wheel, you can see it's flashing trunk ajar, and then it's shutting. So I'm opening and closing the circuit, and it works very well. I'm happy with it. And then I moved on to the doors. There's actually already a tiny hole where that grommet is. I made it a little wider. It was a little scary cutting into my door jamb with the paint, but it ended up working real nice. Just a nice snug fit with that grommet. So there it is. Sensor in the jamb, and then the sensor in the door. So cool, man. Headlights turn on, little parking lights, tail lights. And that's what I got done with wrapping up the harness. Pulled out that filler neck, wrapped it up behind there. And these screws that come through for the grommet on the floor, put little caps on them because that harness is really close to those. I did have them going the other way, but they're supposed to go from the bottom up. So now that's safe and sound, don't have to worry about that. Any wires shorting out or rubbing the ground when this thing's going down the road.